Hi guys, so welcome to this episode. So today I'm giving one of my favorite pastries, which is scones, a fiber and fruity lift. I'm going to call this berry blast and chia scones. Whatever, I'll probably change the name before the end of this video. So one thing about scones is all your ingredients have to be cold. So I have my cold butter, I have my blueberries and cranberries. I'm making two batches, right? One with blueberries, one with cranberries. I advise that you use fresh and or dry berries, but I'm using frozen berries because that's what I have at home. I always keep frozen berries at home. The disadvantage of using frozen berries is that they may bleed into your dough. Well, I'm here for the coloring, for natural food coloring, so that's cool. I have my milk. So I'm using all-purpose and all wheat flour. So I'm not using all-purpose flour all true, which is what I usually do with scones. I'm going to be mixing part of it with all wheat flour just to also up the fiber content. And I have chia seeds that would, also help with increasing the fiber content and also help with omega-3 fatty acids in my scones. I have my eggs, sugar, and yeah, I think we can get on with it. I hope this comes out really nice. So I'm experimenting this particular recipe. I've tried some other ones, but I'm experimenting this particular imagination for the first time today with you guys, right? What goes down? So that's one of the reasons why, aside watching my video, I always recommend that you also go to my blog to read the recipes, because sometimes, while experimenting, I may realize that I probably should have added more sugar, or probably could reduce the sugar a bit, or should have added more baking and all that stuff. So at the end of my video, I still recommend that you go read my recipe. That's nutribakesandbeyond.com. all right, so before I start mixing, I'm going to just take this back into the fridge. Remember what I said about everything being cold? So I'm taking my berries back into the fridge. I'm not ready to use them now. I'm still going to have to cut the butter into the flour and all that, and I don't want them to defrost. I'm also going to mix all my wet ingredients all together and take them into the fridge, because the process of cutting the butter in, remember my butter is cold and hard, and it might take some time to kind of like fold it in. So these are all my wet ingredients. I don't want anything to get into room temperature. Just going to mix it. Now you don't want to over mix. So I've mixed my wet ingredients, put it in the fridge. And now I can have some peas. So I've mixed my dry ingredients. Don't you like how it looks with the chia seeds? Time for me to cut my butter in. The butter has to be really, really cold. Like if possible, pop the butter into the freezer. So I'm breaking the butter in. So you see what I'm doing? Yeah, the purpose is not to fold it in smoothly. You should have chunks like this, like butter coated with flour, kind of pea-sized chunks like this. So at this point, I'm going to pour in my wet ingredients. You shouldn't overmix. It shouldn't be smooth. If you overmix, you're not going to get nice scones, basically. You can see that it's really bled into my dough, which is what I want. Some nice colored scones, right? And this is natural coloring. This is not, artificial coloring. So I'm going to be using my dough cutter. You can use your glass cup for this, but I'm using my dough cutter, and I'm going to just put this in flour just to make it easy to cut out. And I'm going to be putting it on the baking tray. So these are my scones. After I cut them, you can see how beautiful they look already. Now I'm going to pop this into the freezer. Remember what I said about butter being cold? I need to keep the butter cold inside, solid. So I'm going to pop this into the freezer for about 30 minutes. While waiting, I just want to tell you why I'm really excited about this one. This particular recipe is packed with nutrients. Talking about nutrients from cranberries. Cranberries are nutrient dense, rich in vitamin C, rich in anthocyanins, rich in vitamin E. Cranberries are known to even help with urinary tract infections. Then let's talk about blueberries. Do you know that blueberries actually help with your brain health? And that's one of the reasons why I take blueberries a lot. I'm a data scientist. I need my brain to always be on point. Yeah, then we have chia seeds, fiber, omega-3, then the extra fiber from the whole wheat flour. So this is the point. This is what I'm trying to get at. I don't want to be having pastries and be feeling bad about it and be like, okay, now that I've had 1 or 2 scones, then it means I have to count the number of calories I have to eat today and all that, you know, start overthinking what I'm eating or start feeling bad that, okay, I'm eating something that is just filled with sugar and fat and all that stuff. So with this, for every bite, I know that I'm nourishing my body. It feels like I'm taking a multivitamin. As you can see on the screen, this is not just your average sugar bomb breakfast. This one actually fuels your day and nourishes your body. So by swapping in some whole wheat and adding chia seeds, we've seriously leveled up the fiber and omega-3s. And then we've got those peak season antioxidants because I used frozen berries. But like I said, feel free to use dried berries or fresh berries if you do not want the bleeding or you don't want the color, you want them to look more like traditional scones. This is nutritious and balanced. And that is what we should be striving at. We shouldn't just label food as bad. Let's see how we can actually help food, what we like, taste good, and still nourish our body. Now, sometimes when we replace these recipes, ingredients in recipes, you might not really get something as aesthetically pleasing. You might not really get the same structure or the same texture or the same shape and all that. So in my blog, I take all this into consideration and ensure that I write the recipe in a way that it will be more convenient for you or it will give better results than I got. So aside from you watching this video, go to my blog nutribakesandbeyond.com and check out the recipe there. So the written recipe, and follow that instead. I guess that would, you know, help. I'm still going to drop the ingredient list in this video, but yeah. All right, so I can't wait for this to be done. Just waiting 1 more minute. Yeah, that's my cue. 5'9" brown eyes. So these are the blueberry scones and these are the cranberry scones. There was more bleed with the blueberry scones because of the eye moisture in blueberries. And just going to. So the shape didn't kind of like form the way I wanted, but shape looks better with the cranberries. This is one of each. Look at them. They look nice to me. Not as smooth as regular scones because of the, you know, berries and all, like the frozen berries and all that. But they actually look really nice. I'm going to open each one of them and see. I'm just going to. You can see the chia seeds in there. This is nutrient packed and tastes good too. This is filling, and I don't know if I can handle a whole scone again. Of course, this is a different flavor and it tastes good. I love blueberries, so it's worked. This is my scone. This is my scone. You can see for the cranberries, it didn't bleed badly. Yeah, it has this pink hue, but it still looks like, it kind of like still looks like regular scones with slight browning. For the blueberries, we all know how blueberries can get. Like it's colored it, definitely. It's colored it completely. So I recommend that if you do not want this coloring, which I find it looks, which I like. I like this. It looks like a real meal, right? So, but if you do not want your blueberry scones looking like this, then use dried blueberries. So that would work better. You can still maintain, you know, the color of your scones, like natural color of scones, and just have your blueberries. Especially if this is your first time making scones, I would recommend, you know, use frozen berries unless you're a pro. And it's homemade, so you can do what you like if you're doing it in your house. So yeah, so use fresh mixture, fresh berries and dried berries, but more dried berries, or just use dried berries all through. Especially if you're doing this for the first time, just use dried berries all through. For the recipe in the blog, I think I'm going to just put in dried berries. So thank you so much for watching this. See you again next time when I have another experiment that I'm imagining. So I hope I have some time to just do it. I have a full-time job, so of course you know how it is. I'm going to be experimenting with you. Okay, all right, bye. Thanks for watching.